Hello, everybody. Welcome to ExpandAbilities Meets. I'm Alex.
This is Robert.
How are we doing out there today? Oh, it's a beautiful day for this, don't you think, Rob?
I believe it is.
You
I
believe
believe
it
it
is?
is.
You don't think it actually is? I think every day is a beautiful day if you think it is.
Yes, it's definitely nice today.
It's a little too hot out there today. It's around 91. It's a little crispy.
What do you think? Glasses on, glasses off.
The glasses on is your look, man.
All
It's your
right,
it's your
gotcha.
signature look. So I feel like you got to keep it.
I'm keeping it.
Got to keep it. So we are continuing on with our journey through mental health and athletics. And recently we went over anxiety, which is also the second module of our ExpandAbilities Coach Certification that Rob and I crafted up. Today we are going to be covering bipolar disorder. Ooh, I know
Yes,
it
yeah.
sounds scary.
Sounds different. Sounds like somebody's jumping from one aspects of their mood to another.
It's kind of what it is, though, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is.
So, Rob, how let's talk about first what bipolar is. Okay. I know people say all the time, like, oh, he's a little bipolar, she's a little bipolar, but really, do people even understand what bipolar is?
Why don't you break it down for us?
Well, sure.
Just
Why
a little
not?
bit.
Why not? Why not?
A little bit. Good.
So there's I don't want to give too much because as mentioned earlier, we talk about this in our ExpandAbilities Coach Certification, which we encourage all coaches and people involved in sports to take to understand mental health a little bit more and how to better create that environment for their athletes to succeed in. So bipolar, simple way of putting it, there's different types, bipolar 1, bipolar 2. There could be a combination of both, but mainly there's a connection between mania and depression. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So
Very good.
each bipolar diagnosis is different from the other. Each person expresses those characteristics in different ways.
Yep.
Now, whether someone has more mania or more depression, that really is on a person-to-person basis. Not no two illnesses are the same. I hate to say illnesses, but definition based on the definition, that's what it is. I'd
Right.
rather just say quality or a characteristic. I think it's more positive thinking, and but mainly that's what it is. You got mania, you got depression. Some could feel more on a manic side, more could feel more on the depressed side. It's truly can vary. Is that fair?
Yes, it definitely can vary from one aspect to a different to another. Uh, one of the uh, one of the things that, or body expression or verbal expression, is their ability or inability to control their actions. One moment they could be the nicest individual in the world. The next minute, they're going off over something that may have happened 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago at that split moment.
Yeah, I mean, you never know when that's going to happen, and you think there's an answer, but there just isn't. And it's just they could just be thinking one thing at one point, and then at another point they could be thinking another thing, and that could totally change their mood on everything. It's not just that one thing that they're talking about,
Right,
right? It's
right.
just their thought process. Sure, it could be a little faster, maybe it could be a little slower too, when that depression kicks in. But I think what you're talking about a lot is the manic episodes, right? How they could
Yeah,
just kind of the flick of the switch just
yeah.
go off on something,
Go off of
right?
something. Right, right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So have you had any experience with this, like with your students or players or anything like that?
Students, players, be honest with you, family members. Uh, these are kind of things that individuals may come into my office and talk about and express concern about, whether
Yeah.
it's them or whether it's their parent. But those are individuals that I continue to work with.
Well, yeah, and I think there are people out there who don't want to work with these individuals because they don't know what's going to happen. And I experienced this a lot when I worked in mental health in especially the hospital setting. Like one day we could be having a great conversation, talking about whatever, talking about sports, talking about just life, right? And then in a matter of moments, they were being they were being held down. They were being they
A
the
manic episode.
yeah, and the child, it was a child. These are adolescents, these are teenagers that I worked with, and I just remember that they had to be escorted all the way down to the room and then put in restraints, because of that episode. And they would just scream all these different things. Honestly, it sounded scary if someone was brand new to the setting, right?
Right.
And I mean, honestly, it's chaotic, and that's what drives a lot of people away from that type of setting. I completely understand if it's not up your alley, then you don't have to be there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
But just a matter of moments, how someone could go from having just a solid conversation to now they're being held down and they're putting restraints on these people. It's just like you don't really think about it. I mean, sure, there's a lot more to it, and that's besides just bipolar. And a lot of times, I feel like bipolar is just
It's
it's
a
not.
label.
It's
It's
what?
their label. It's,
Well, yeah, but it's also like they have more to it. Like it's not like, hey, Susie just has bipolar. It's like usually there's a lot more, don't you think?
yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, when the individual sees what you just explained, they're saying, "Oh, he has bipolar." However, they're not digging deep into okay, what is causing those challenges that this person's going through.
Yeah, like are there environmental challenges? Like that's I don't know about you, but now like going back into the sports scene, doesn't even have to be sports, but just people in general. The environmental challenges, which are rooted in a lot of people's behaviors, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like what did they grow up with? Who did they grow up with? What were they treated like? And just it's an ongoing effect. I'm sure like we see this all the time with the kids we coach.
right.
And
Well, no, go
feel free.
ahead.
No, go for it. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Right. Well, I was going to say, even looking at coaches, a coach from a player perspective, when they're looking at their coach, especially during the game,
Yeah.
they're probably saying, "Man, what is going on?" This one moment he was in, that person was laughing and joking. Next minute he's blowing his top off.
He's
So
throwing a
that's what,
clipboard on the ground and breaking it.
yeah, that's a manic episode that person's having. So just now imagine this, that a person's going through this 365 days a year. So
And
you
not
know,
knowing how to get out of it
and
because they
not knowing
can't
how to get
control
out of
it.
it. Right, right.
It's scary, man. And I'm like, I don't have bipolar disorder. I've been around people who do, but it's just you look from the outside in, it's just like I'm not judging by any
No,
means, but I'm just thinking in my head like that must be hard.
yeah,
The thoughts that go through their head and just the fact that they could just switch their mood from one to another drastically in a negative way too. Like especially those, I mean, people can have bipolar but learn how to manage it properly, right? But
yeah,
then there's also those who don't know how to manage it properly. Um, I've worked with a kid who before who again, same kind of situation. We were talking and having conversations, just and the next thing you know, I find out, oh, he wanted to shoot up school,
yeah,
And I'm just like, goodness. I mean, they explained a lot on why he was in an inpatient setting, right?
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like someone that feels so real and so authentic can have this other side. And that's kind of how I feel it with some type of bipolar. Don't
Yes,
you think?
I do. So one of the things for me, what I'm thinking is, how do we support this individual or individuals that are going through those situations, those challenges, whether it be the person actually going through the challenge and or the person that is living with individuals going through that challenge. How do we support them?
Well, here, let's bring this all back to why we started this. Athletics. Athletics gives that escape, right? It
Right.
gives it gives that it gives that nurturing environment of people, like-minded individuals who are there to accomplish a goal. And it has in a lot of athletics are long seasons. You get to build that bond with others who are there for the same reasons as you, regardless of your ability level or regardless of your the mental health challenge that you might face,
Right.
and so that's why, and I don't have to tell you this, but that's why we're so focused on what we do, right? With merging athletics and psychological well-being, because it saves people. It truly does. And I mean, I'm just going off on something, but I feel like it could save a lot of people regardless of what they may be facing. And truly it could be inner demons. It could be something like bipolar. And even though you might experience those types of symptoms and characteristics, you get that escape. It's like what we tell kids in football, like, hey, you are here to hit people. This is your time to hit
Sure.
people.
To let the frustration out.
Yeah, legally.
Right. Right.
Like, and that's just my thought, man. I mean, like, that's why I love being around it, especially football. And I'm just biased, but it's that sport where you could take someone of any size, of any background, any look, anything, and just throw them on a field, and magic happens.
Right. And then go at it. So where are some of the things people may experience? I know you spoke about their mood change. You
Yeah,
spoke about that, but definitely their behavior too. The
they're
behavior,
the behavior specifically in like an athletic environment or just in general.
well, just in general, they may be show aggressive. They may be sit back and crying, agitated, uh, impulsive.
Here's a question
Those
for you,
things.
Rob. Now
Oh,
they experience. I know, right? They experience. You're like this one. I put a lot of thought into this one. Uh, so you talk about behavior, right? So in those situations, when that behavior occurs, have you noticed that people, like families, even teachers, want to withdraw those children from extracurricular, from other activities because they think they might be too much,
right,
right?
right. I feel we should do the opposite. We
Yeah.
should definitely create more opportunities for those. Well, all individuals, but definitely for those individuals, because now we're trying to isolate them. If you're taking them away from something that is, they really do enjoy that. They're just going through a challenge at the moment.
Oh yeah, and who knows? That challenge could decrease. I'm not saying it's gonna totally be eliminated. I'm not saying someone with a neurological disorder will just go to the doctor one day and be like, "Hey, you don't have this anymore." But they will feel more comfortable with managing it, and the fact that they're being surrounded by other peers would help with social interaction skills and just getting them out of their shell. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I feel like when you isolate them, you're creating more problems. Is that fair?
No, I feel that you're exactly right. I feel
Sweet. I get an A.
you definitely get aid for sure, Alex.
Nice.
Um, do you think that this could affect their sleep patterns as well?
Because they're overthinking.
Overthinking, yeah, yeah. Their weight may change, either may go up or may go down. There are some things that the individual may experience.
I just I feel like there's a lot of things that like you're talking about a lot of physical changes, right? So their sleep may uh be damaged because
Fluctuate.
of it.
Yeah, fluctuate, definitely.
Yeah. And because of that, it can impact their cognitive ability, but also just their focus. They're not going to be as focused on a day-to-day basis. And that's a problem, especially if they're in school.
Right.
They need to focus if they want a future. And so kind of taking this all back to bipolar disorder, I feel like behavior is obviously impacted. When the behavior is, it's kind of like a domino effect. When the behavior is impacted, people feel like they have to be withdrawn. When they feel like they have to be withdrawn, then they're isolated, and from isolation comes loneliness.
Yeah,
Comes that sleep fluctuation.
yeah,
Comes that physical effect where, hey, like maybe I'm not going to eat. I'm just in my head. They're not going to finish their work. They're going to put things off. Now, how about this is going to sound funny, but how about a positive? Is there a positive with experiencing some of these behaviors, specifically in athletics?
specifically in athletic? Is there a
It's a big
positive?
question. It's a big question. I got one, but I'm gonna wait to see what you say.
I feel it's definitely it could be a positive,
Okay.
especially. I mean, I've had individuals on my wrestling team. Um, they could be calm and cool while they're going through their match, and all of a sudden that manic uh, side of them steps in. Next thing you know, hey, they're winning their match. They're having some.
They pinned him. They
They pinned the guy because this other guy's like, oh my goodness, what just happened?
I
This
was
guy,
winning. No.
right? Now I'm on my back looking at the lights. Um, I mean, I mean, is there a positive? Like, my main thing about positive is that they're around other individuals. They're around their peers. They're not being pulled away from their peers. So yeah, I think there's a positive.
That is exactly what I was gonna say. Now let's put it in different environments. Okay. So the manic, not necessarily a manic episode, but having that mania or that impact thereof, we'll go specific. It could fuel athletic performance. It's
Yeah,
not gonna hurt it. It's just gonna fuel it, like
right,
football, it makes you more physical. Wrestling, next thing you know, you're pitting someone and you were just losing. We
right.
could talk about something like swimming. You just have all this kind of built up energy where now it's like you're gonna win the match.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah. All of a sudden, you're Mark Spitzer. You just won a gold medal.
I mean that's really what it can come to. But that's the thing with managing it. And that's something people learn as they grow up. It's the same thing with every other type of neurological disorder, which you and I are going to talk about later on. So we don't want to get into that right now. But
No, please don't. That's not my area.
yeah. Um, but really, I mean, it could fuel athletic performance, but it could also lead to reckless behavior, like what you talked about, impulsivity and potentially harmful choices, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if someone has that manic episode and they're just in a negative state of mind, they're going to do things that they'll probably regret. It's fair to say.
Oh, definitely.
Don't want to assume, but at the same time, it's like that's why things like this do get managed. And I'm not one to push for any medications or anything like that, but definitely putting the right things in your life, like hobbies and different types of leisure activities, is the rec therapist in me. But that's why we promote athletics. That's why we
Right.
promote sports. It gives them so much. Like,
And one thing about sports, what that helps the individual is a repetition. It's a, hey, okay, I do this at this time.
a routine.
A
Yeah.
routine and repetition. Very good. Um, I think that will help the individual. Now, question is what happens after the season when the season ends? That routine is switched, or hopefully they go right into another sport, whether it's from football to wrestling, wrestling to baseball, baseball back to football, whatever it may be.
Well, I think it really comes down to that relationship that they build with their peers and their coaches. Because if coaches know that these kids have something like bipolar disorder beforehand, it's like, okay, I'm not going to focus my attention on them because we want to treat them like they're a part of the team, obviously, right?
Right.
But I'm going to know in the back of my head, like, hey, this transition is going to be a little harder for them when the season ends, or when something does happen, like say they're on the field and a manic episode comes into play because a ref made the wrong call. It's a pretty good analogy, right? And
Yeah.
they just want to go beat up the ref. It's like, okay, you need to learn to deal with those types of behaviors before they happen. You know what I mean? And so that's why I think having that positive coach to athlete relationship could be really beneficial with preventing bad things from happening, but also can help them in the long run, especially even when the season is over. They could serve almost kind of like their counselor and
Yeah.
their guide for what's to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. I understand that. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean
But
it's having that relationship is just something really important. I wish more people focused on it. That's what I think, but we all have different thoughts.
what do you think about them like joining support groups? After this, after after the season's over, or even during the season.
I think
So
it's
that
awesome.
way, yeah.
Yeah, did you have more about them?
No, no, I was trying to see what you had to say about that and what your thoughts are.
Well, support groups don't have to be an everyday thing, and I feel like that's the misconception is you get a lot of people who think that I need to go to this group 5 days a week for 6 months. And it's like if it gets to a point where it's getting really bad and just taking over your brain, then okay, you do as you will. You got to get a good read for yourself. I always tell my players, hey, you know your body's better than I do.
Right,
Like when they come to me and they're like, hey, like I have a bummed ankle or I hurt my arm, it's like I'm not going to tell you what to do. And I feel like you kind of put it in their corner. It's that autonomous type of choice where it's like if you feel like you can do this, then do it. If you feel like you can't, then don't. So I try to, and I feel like it's kind of a new way of coaching is trying to push this independence and this type of thinking where this independence and this type of thinking where it gives the kid a choice.
right.
And
And not necessarily a choice where wherever they may choose, they feel it's more of a consequence. Let them just make the choice of, hey, like you said, Alex, you know your body better than me, so you do what you feel most comfortable with. However, if it's a clear challenge where you see his bone sticking out his leg, no, you can't go back in.
yeah,
No,
or heat stroke. Right now is heat stroke time.
right, yeah. So yeah, no, you have to go get a drink of water, sit in the shade,
Yeah.
put a wet towel over your head, so relax.
And so it's like it's really kind of understanding the player, understanding the situation, and then assessing it from then on. And giving those options to the player. It's not like you're telling them like, hey, either you can go home or stay here. I mean, have we said that before? Like, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. If you don't want to be here, you can leave. But
Right.
I mean,
There's the door. I'm not holding you back.
I said that last
Uh,
week. Yeah, but no, I mean, you're giving them that choice and that type of autonomous decision where it's like, you let me know, because I feel like we are done with that pastime of like, hey, rub some dirt on it and get back out of there. Um, because I don't think we could say that anymore, to be honest. But I
well,
might get
we can't.
flagged.
Yeah. No, we can't say that, and
It's a little
we
harsh.
can't we can't ignore anything that that person may be going through.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I had a funny story. Not really funny, but I had a kid in practice a couple weeks ago, and he said, "Hey, I hurt my arm. Can I go sit out?" I'm like, "You make that decision, like what we just talked about." And then he goes through like two contact practices and he's running the ball, all this type of stuff, and super active. And then he comes back last week at the end of the week and then he's like, hey, I broke my arm. I'm like, oh, okay. All right then. Did not notice. I think it was yeah, I just didn't know. He had like a cast on his arm, and I was like, okay. So that would
So
be an example where it's like, okay, then I mean it's kind of in your court. Did it look broken? Like was it twisted? I've seen the
right.
twisted arms before and those are disgusting. So it wasn't twisted, so I'm thinking like, oh, maybe it's just a stinger. But
Yeah, it's done all right.
yeah, so he's out for a little bit, but that's it is what it is.
Well,
So
he should be back by what, week two?
something like that, yeah. Yeah, I think he only said no, not super long, so that's good.
Yeah.
But back to bipolar because that's something. All right, so actually, let's connect it. Okay, so you get someone with a broken arm, they're like, "Hey, I hurt my arm, I need to get out of here." Okay, that's one thing. Now, on the other hand, what if you got someone be like, "Hey, coach, I have bipolar." I doubt anyone would come to you and say that, but they have bipolar, something's happening, an emotional situation is about to happen, but you don't want them to quit. Either they're a great athlete or being a part of a team is a great thing for them, like it is for everyone. What do you say?
Hey, that's that's where our coach's certification comes in, man. That's where it comes in. It's
So
like,
we
hey,
purposely shouldn't tell the viewers right now.
No. um, no, but one thing I don't want to call any, I just don't want to say a good coach. A well-informed coach
Hmm.
will see this challenge coming before the player even comes to you. So you can see how he's interacting with his peers, see how he's interacting.
Be
If he
more
does
observant.
more observant, yeah. So look, that's I don't want to give a lot away, but yeah, that's where our
Well,
coaching
and that's
certification
exactly what
comes
we
in.
cover, man. That's exactly what we cover. We help, I mean, really, that's what we're here for. We help coaches observe these behaviors and try to stop the emotional situations before they occur. Like, nobody wants to deal with that. It's just, it's truth. Even professionals in the field, you don't want to see any of these negative emotional situations occur. It's brutal. It's not fun. And
Right.
that's why personally, like athletics is a therapeutic tool. It's a therapeutic tool for individuals going through things like bipolar. They
Right.
experience the manic episodes. They also experience the depressive episodes where they just don't want to do anything.
And the thing about it, it doesn't just hit at one level of life. It hits them at Pee Wee football, it hits them in junior high, hits them in high school, hits them in NCAA in college, and definitely it hits them in pro athletics.
See it all the
So
time. You hear
yeah,
stories about it on ESPN. But with that though, it can hit them whenever. But at the same time, it's understanding like when it's going to happen. We might not know when it's going to happen, but if you know beforehand, they're like, hey, like someone might be experiencing a an episode pretty soon. It's about how you can handle it. Oh, there's the dog.
look at that. Say hi. So this is Hazel. Hazel just wanted to be, but she's having a bipolar
Mm.
episode now.
She did she get stage fright?
Yeah, she was on camera and she said, "Oh, someone else is there. I'm leaving." She bounced.
She got scared. Hey,
Yeah,
but here's the thing though, like what you were talking about with how it can happen anytime. Now, what if it happens and then the kid just wants to quit, or the parents are like, "Hey, I want to pull my kid from this because their behavior." Like, is that like I don't think it's a punishment. I think it's just you're taking away something that could be beneficial to them in the long run. You know what I mean?
right. And I hate to say it like this, but I am going to say it. You know, when anyone ever says that, "Oh, I hate to say it like this,"
Yeah.
you know they're about to say it anyway. So I'm gonna say it anyway. So I would say, hey, we have to arm parents with information. Arm the parents with information that will help them understand that, hey, this is
And
still good for their child.
and what can coaches do to help them to help educate parents?
Hmm, they could take the certification.
There we go. Boom.
They
Well,
could take the certification,
they could definitely
and
take that.
and that way they are armed. They have their magazine is full. You know, they're ready.
They're
Uh,
ready for parent questions. And then if you
yes,
want to learn more, reach out to us and we'll give you more because that's eventually what's going to happen. With our certifications, we're going to add more modules. It's so on that note, as we mentioned a few times during this time together, our Expandabilities Coach Certification, it's available right now. Go to www.expandabilities.com and you can move forward with the certification. If you have any questions or anything,
and abilities.
email info@expandabilities.com. We'll get that email directly and we will respond in a timely manner. As mentioned earlier, we are going to eventually add more modules to the certification, but also we'll have some continuing education courses as the year progresses or the years. But our certification course, it's similar to a CPR course, meaning it's stuff you need to know, but it's good for every 2 years. So we highly encourage you get that every 2 years. As every 2 years, it will be updated and rejuvenated with new information and new neurological disorders that are more diagnosed.
Yeah.
and that can change per year. Heck, it could change per week. So, Rob, our next topic is going to be pretty deep. We have suicidal ideation.
Yes.
So that's going to be our next one. So we encourage you guys all to continue tuning into these and meet with us. And that is the point of ExpandAbilities Meets. We meet together to discuss not just the certification, but it'd be great if you guys take it. But we discuss mental health challenges, specifically in athletics, and what we can do as coaches to help make the environment a better and safer place for everyone so everybody can succeed. That's ultimately what we want. We want more kids playing sports. We want those participation numbers to increase. We want coaches to be informed so we know how to talk to parents, so we know how to work with our athletes better and just create the best opportunities. Rob, anything else?
You hit on the nail.
I did. All right,
Yes,
sweet.
you did.
That's without any notes too. That's just from the brain. It's because my head's big. Big brain, big head.
Eh. Yeah, yeah. And from that moment, and then from that, I will leave it to you, Alex. Great job again.
It's
You
a great
never
job to you, my friend.
never cease to fail me. You always. Oh, and congratulations on starting your new journey for your MA.
I think it's a master's of science. I'm still.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Not
And
everybody gets the arts ones, man. It's like my
just people
bachelor's.
like
My
me.
bachelor's was a BS, so
I don't know what that stands for.
no.
All
All
right,
right,
that's
well,
all I have.
we hope to see you next time. I'm Alex,
I'm Robert.
and this is ExpandAbilities Meets. Peace.
Peace.